Hey everyone, this is Norris Tony coming back to you all with another video. I'm going to be reading from my book, Walk in Faith. I'm going to read a Bible verse and I'm going to read a prayer. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. This comes from the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 29. Here's the prayer. It is hard for us to have faith in what we cannot see or hear or touch. Our senses tell us it isn't real or that it isn't tangible. Moses parted the Red Sea with God's help, yet our daily lives are rarely so spectacular. God's love for us is as real as any solid object, as any force of nature. God's care for us is as tangible as we believe it to be. Have faith in God even when appearances suggest we are alone. That is when we most need him. Okay, I'm going to read an article on the Shade Room, and it's called RHO. Well, really, I'm just going to say it. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jen Shah sentenced to 6.5 years in federal prison. She ain't no star to me, but okay, let's get to it. It's official. Jen Shah of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City has received a 78-month prison sentence in her high profile. The news came on Friday in a New York City courthouse, as indicated by live coverage provided by NBC News. On top of her 6.5-year sentence, Jen will be required to complete 5 years of supervised release. What the attorneys had to say about Jen Shah. While addressing the court, Jen's defense attorney spoke on the events that led up to this point. Come on. Okay. Hold on. As Real Housewives of Salt Lake City fans will know, Jen has firmly proclaimed her innocence on the series, with her season 2 tagline being, "The only thing I'm guilty of is being shamazing." Jen also firmly shot down speculation that she had defrauded senior citizens by saying, "I'm innocent." She held this stance up until she pleaded guilty to wire fraud back in July, after which Bravo began to distance itself from Shaw. Regarding her initial proclamations of innocence, attorney Priya Chaudhry, I can't say her name, so I'm spelling it out, explained that Jen was lost for months in an echo chamber of her own denial. However, the lawyer says Jen is now ready to pay her debt to society. Every day since she has pled guilty, she has read names and prayed for forgiveness, but she cannot forgive herself. She understands she cannot undo these things and the things she has caused their families. But she does acknowledge today is about justice. As for the prosecution, attorney Robert Sobelman held Jen to the fire and explained that she worked hard to make as much money for herself at the expense of vulnerable people. Sobelman also doubled down on recommending a 10-year sentence, saying, "We think a 120-month sentence will be appropriate." Meanwhile, Jen's attorneys sort a 3-year sentence. Jen received 78 months and share her peace. I promise to repay. Ultimately, Judge Sidney Stein sentenced Jen to 6.5 years and acknowledged that innocent people suffered financially and emotional devastation at the hands of the Bravo Liberty. I don't know if she appreciates the harm she has caused. I hope she has. I heard the words. Those people have no way of being made full again. If they are financially, they won't be emotionally. Stein also wished Jen well as she prepares to serve out her sentence. I do wish you luck. I know you can put this behind you, and when you get out, you can rebuild your life. Shah was then able to speak, and she reflected on her family upbringing, which was centered on mutual respect, fulfillment of obligations, humanity and generosity, loyalty and respect. I have to come to terms that I have gone against these core values, and I am deeply sorry for what I have done. Notably, Jen promised to pay full restitution to all of the victims. I want to apologize to all the victims and families, and I take full responsibility for the harm I caused and will pay full restitution to all of the victims. I recognize that some of you lost hundreds and others lost thousands, and I promise to repay. Shaw didn't issue any further statements after the sentencing, and she has to surrender herself on February 17th. While she requested to be sent to a faculty in Texas, it's certainly unclear where exactly Jen will serve out her sentence. However, our housewife's Twitter was a mess throughout this journey. Jen's sentencing wrapped up quite the stage on Housewives Twitter, and reactions to the news was mixed. Jen Shah going to prison for 6 years. Jen Shah sentenced to 6 years in prison. Jen Shah wanted 32 months and got 78, 6.5 years. How am I supposed to care about my academic advising app when Jen Shaw got sentenced to 6.5 years? Jen Shaw sentenced to 78 months in prison, and Ray just got her first #1 in the UK. You can also see some of the buzz that came ahead of the news down below. Dorinda Deadly. The way I keep forgetting Jen Shaw is actually going to prison, and it's not just a housewives Twitter joke. Hashtag Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Bravo fans are climbing the walls of the New York City courthouse in an attempt to get inside and watch the Jen Shaw sentencing. RHOSLC hashtag social media logging on at 10 a.m. ET to report on Jen Shaw's sentencing. Jen finally gets sentenced tomorrow and we can start to move on with our lives. Hashtag RHOSLC. Jen Shaw gets sentenced tomorrow. What do you think about Jen Shaw getting 6.5 years in prison? Okay, y'all, what I was just reading all the tweets about Jen Shaw and her sentencing. So that's what I was doing. But now I'm done with the article. See what Jen Shaw was doing? She used her telemarketing company, to scheme and plot against senior citizens. Basically, it was a telemarketing fraud or scam to get to con senior citizens out of their money. Basically, so she used her telemarketing company to scam elderly people out of hundreds and thousands of dollars. For what reason? I don't know why she did that. But like I said, you supposed to be good to the elderly. You supposed to be good to your seniors. You not supposed to be scamming senior citizens out of their money. They work hard for their money. some of these people have to live, or seniors have, a lot of senior citizens have to live off their social security checks on a monthly basis. They, some, a lot of, or some of them get pensions and get retirement money, 401k money that they have to live off of. So it's like for this heifer to sit up there and just scam them out of their money, it's just ridiculous. She getting exactly what she deserved. Really, she probably should have got got 10 years for that. But like I said, what goes around comes around, and she getting what's coming to her. And if y'all don't know who Jen Shaw is, I'm gonna show you her picture, what she looked like. This what she looked like right here. This is that heifer. Oh, con artist, oh, scammer. Yeah, that's what she looked like. She's a scammer. She's a con artist. You know, I would be shamed. But then the thing is, she lied. She lied and talked about, oh, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. But in July of last year, 2022, she confessed, basically pleaded guilty to the charges, to fraud and scamming people or seniors or elderly people out of their money. If she would have just came clean from the beginning, I think this was like in 2021 when this first happened, when people first you know bringing this to our attention, or Bravo brought this to our attention that Jen was, getting investigated by the FBI for scamming the elderly out of their money. Basically, if she would have just came clean and just confessed sooner and pled guilty sooner, she could have been dead. I mean, she could have been doing some jail time now, or either she could have maybe worked something out and figured out a way to pay them senior citizens back. But for you to sit up there and lie and talk about, during season 2, but right now the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City they on season 3 that comes on every Wednesday night, I think at 9 o'clock on Bravo. She's in that season right now, season 3. But yeah, the last season 2, she was talking about how innocent she was when they was filming, and when the season 2 aired over a year ago. She's talking about how innocent she was. She was shouting it to the rooftop. I'm innocent. I didn't do that. I would never do that. And then all of a sudden, in July, after the season is over, and y'all start filming for season 3, or I think it was before season 3 filmed, or whatever, or either it could have been after. But she decided to say, "Oh, I pled guilty to the charges, and I take full responsibility for my actions." You should have been did that. You did it because you got caught, and people wasn't buying your innocent plea. So that's why you did it. You didn't do it to take responsibility. You did it because you got caught and didn't nobody believe you. And the FBI had enough evidence to bring it to a trial, to have you go on trial for your scamming behavior. So I don't think you was being sincere when you owned up to it, because you lied in the first place and denied scamming and committing fraud. So like I said, you was guilty the whole time, and then you gonna lie at first and say you didn't do it when you was guilty all along. So I don't feel sorry for you. You shouldn't have never did that in the first place. You shouldn't have never used your business to scam senior citizens out of their money. They are vulnerable people. They're vulnerable just like babies. They're vulnerable like little children. You got to, like I said, you got to handle the elderly with decency and with respect. You got to care for them. You can't sit up there and scheme them out of their money. That's not right. For to scheme them and con them out of their hard-earned money, it's just not right. It's not fair. It's disgusting. It's despicable. And you should be ashamed of yourself. And yeah, you do need to ask God for forgiveness and all those victims too, because it was a lot of victims, lots of victims. I don't know how many, but it was a lot of them that she scammed, that she conned out of their money. Like, what was the purpose of you doing that, Jen? What was the purpose of you doing that? You was gonna make good money or make money eventually, very good money off this housewives show. And you know your husband is a Sharif Shah. He's a basketball coach. I know that's not enough money, but still, with hard work, you could get to where you want to get in life. You could have built your business, your telemarketing business up another way, not use it to scam senior citizens. You don't do that. Nobody, I bet you a lot of people's not going to want to do business with you now, knowing that you did that, knowing that you was dishonest and didn't tell the truth until you had to. You told the truth because your butt was in a line of fire, and you had to. That's why you did it. And you thought that the jury and the judge was gonna be light on you, even though they gave you 6.5 years. You probably should have got more. But yeah, and then on top of that, you got to serve 5 years. 5 years. Let me see in the article what it said. On top of that, let me see. She got to serve 5 years of supervised release. So, like I said, you didn't do yourself no favors by lying and denying what you did. Yeah, you was in denial. You should have came clean and admitted it in the first place. But then again, you shouldn't have never did it at all. If you wouldn't have did it, you wouldn't be in this situation. See, you wasn't thinking. You're not a good business person and you're not a good businesswoman. You're not a good person at all. You got a lot. You need therapy. You need help. You got a lot that you need to work on because you are bad. Like I said, you is con artist, and you should be ashamed of yourself for what you did to them senior citizens. But like I said, good luck to you. Really, you getting exactly what you deserve. You need to be locked up in prison, and while you there, you need to think about how you gonna start your life back over and the things you gonna do to try to make yourself a better person. And I hope that you are telling the truth when you said that you gonna repay them victims back, cause you need to. You need to pay the restitution. Yeah, that's the least you can do is pay them their money back. You need to do that, and you need a butt whooping too while you at it. With your low down, dirty behind. You a low down, dirty broad for that. Shame on you, Jen Shaw. Shame on you. But that's all I have to say. I hope you all like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you like. Thanks for watching, and you all have a good weekend. Peace.